Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope today's been treating you well. In today's video I have literally just received through my door a big parcel from Profusion. We are going to be diving into their new spring collection. I haven't even opened this yet, so let me get my little knife here and get into this box of goodies. I am so excited about this eyeshadow palette. It's pastel, it's perfect for spring. I really like Profusion's formula in their 5-pan palettes. A lot of the time I don't love the formula in their larger palettes, and this is a larger palette, so we'll see how we go. I also got lashes. I don't know who I think I am, but I got a pack of lashes and also a cream blush. So the blush that I went for is the Pretty Poppy Lip and Cheek Cream Blush. That is what the packaging looks like. So pretty. Then I also got a replacement for my favourite liquid eyeliner whilst I was on their website. I also got these lashes. And when I show you these, you'll know exactly which pair I bought these for. That second set down with the little flowers on the ends of the lashes. How beautiful. I mean, obviously I use the other ones as well. I mean, they look very dramatic, which isn't necessarily what I go for all of the time, but I'm very excited about those flowery ones. I don't know if I'm going to use those today. I might do, but the whole reason for the order was the eyeshadow palette. So if I get rid of the box and get into this. So this is the Petal Perfect 35 shade palette. Oh, it's so pretty. The imprint on some of these pans is beautiful. Look at that colour story. That is incredible. I love the look of this. So I don't think I'm going to swatch all of these today because honestly, like, this is the 35-pan palette, like it would just take me forever. So I'm going to start with the blush because I've got everything else on and I'm feeling a little bit naked without without my blush on. So get that knife again and I can slice into the blush. And like I say, this is the Pretty Poppy Lip and Cheek Cream Blush. Ooh, that is very reflective. That is so smooth. Like, that feels like a liquid. Like, that doesn't feel like a cream to me. Interesting to see how this is going to set down because that just straight up feels like a liquidy sort of Vaseline-y feeling. Really nice and hydrating. I need to wipe my hands. So I'm just going to take the sort of brush that I would normally use for a cream blush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I'm going to take the tiniest amount because she is pigmented. That colour is beautiful. Like, that is just screaming spring to me. This is blending out so easily, but that is incredibly pigmented. I literally pressed my brush into that once. I wonder how this would work on the lips. I don't have anything on my lips, so I can try it, but how would I apply it? With a brush? Just with my finger? I'm not sure. This does seem to be like sinking into the skin nicely, like it's not staying sticky, which of course is a good thing. I am going to wipe that off the back of my hand before I cover myself in it. So let me find a brush that I feel is suitable. I might actually just use my finger because I feel like a brush I'm gonna get lines, aren't I? So I'm just taking a little bit on there and I'm just gonna tap this That's a really nice colour, but it is quite messy. I feel like I'm going to have to invest in like a lip liner brush or something like that to like actually apply that properly onto my lips, because even using my finger, like, it was just a little bit messy to do it that way. I really like the colour though. That's really pretty on the cheeks and the lips, and that sort of creates more of a monochromatic, all very sort of samey, and it all goes together sort of a vibe. So you don't have to worry about it, like your lip products clashing with the blush, because it's literally the same colour. That has blended into the cheeks really nicely. It feels like nothing at all, like that's blended in really nicely, and I do feel like that has sunk in, like it doesn't still feel sticky, so I like that. And they did have another shade of this, I can't remember what it was, but I like this one. It's a little bit warmer and really beautiful for this time of year. So for the eyes, I think what I want to do is that technique where you like lay down like all of the colours and then you just blend over them with a brush afterwards, because I don't know if you can tell, but my eyes will not stop watering today, but I want to get this filmed to get it up for you. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think I'll take Fuchsia as my darkest shade, this one here. Then I really like the look of Iris, this one with the flower in it, and then maybe something a bit lighter, maybe Cosmos, this one. So I don't have any sort of eyeshadow primer on today. Honestly, I was just trying to do like the bare minimum with the like products on my eyes, but I'm just going to take a dense sort of flat brush, and I'll use the same brush for every shade. So I'll start with the lightest shade, Cosmos, and let me get up a different mirror. This palette does have a mirror in it, but it's like a heavy palette and I am weak, so I'm just going to pack this colour on the inner third. We'll work in thirds today. Okay, so that colour isn't necessarily showing up as much as I thought it would. Let me zoom you in and you might be able to actually see what I'm doing. So like, I feel like I've packed on quite a lot of product there, but this colour just isn't very pigmented. It's not great. Not great. So I'm going to just wipe off that brush on my pyjama bottoms, and I'm going to go in with Iris, this shade here, on just the same brush. And see, even that one looks a lot more pigmented on the brush than Cosmos did. So I'm going to put this across the middle. Yes, I feel that's showing up a lot better than that first one. Don't know, maybe it was just that one. So I'm just packing this across the centre of the eye, and then like I say, I'm gonna blend at the end. I am still having to pack this on quite a bit, but I do feel like we're getting there. We're getting a little bit more pigment with that one than we were with that first shade. So I actually think at this stage I'm going to go in with my blending brush, and I'm going to dip into that Cosmos shade, and I'm going to try and blend these two together with a slightly fluffier brush. Even with this blending brush, I feel like these aren't layering up very well. I'm feeling like this is the usual formula from Profusion that is in their larger palettes rather than the formula that's in their smaller palettes. These are the ones that I mean. These are the smaller palettes. These little 5-pan ones, the formula in these is absolutely outstanding. but often when I have tried palettes from like the larger palettes from Profusion, I find that the formulas are just completely different. So I'm taking that same brush, I'm going to dip into Fuchsia, which is that darker, almost like the same undertone as the blush, and I'm going to pack this on the outer corner, and I'm getting a lot of fallout from this one. The colour's there though, at least the colour's there with this one. So that's something at least. So then I'm just running that Fuchsia shade over the join in between that and Iris, just to try and get that a little bit blended, and then I'll go in with the blending brush, the smaller little blending brush, and I will just wiggle over the edges of all of this to get all of these colours blended together. Now obviously these are all matte shades, so I will attempt a shimmery shade. I might try and just, you know, put a light wash of a shimmery shade all over the top to see what we can do. I don't have anywhere to go today, so I can just have a little play around. I'm not loving how this is looking. Can you tell? Can you tell? Okay, so I have managed to build that up quite a bit, but that is a lot of layers of eyeshadow. I am just going to take a little bit of that fuchsia shade, that red shade that I used on the outer corner, and I'm just going to run that under my eye just so that it makes it look a little bit finished. Just a little bit of that right the way along the lower lash line. It's a nice colour. I feel like that fuchsia colour is working well. I do feel like the iris colour, that brighter blue that I've got down the centre, is working well, but that Cosmos shade that I put on the inner corner is just non-existent. Like, I can barely see it. I also feel like this is not necessarily the lip colour that I would go for with this amount of purple on my eyeballs, but it's what we're working with, so we're just gonna have to deal with that. One last little blend over the very top of all of that, and I think I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to dip into Bouquet, this shimmery shade here, because that looks like a little bit iridescent and like it might go over all of this in like a sheer wash of a little bit of something, more like a topper rather than anything that's going to be too pigmented, because a lot of the time a shimmer will cover a multitude of sins. So let's see what we can do with this. Yes, see, I feel like that has just, like that shade, even over the top of that Cosmos shade, I feel like that has just elevated that look so much. I feel like that looks so much better now. A glitter will fix anything. Like a shimmery eyeshadow genuinely fixes so much. And this is just like a light little tap of this across the lid, like nothing too crazy, but I do feel like this could, if you wanted to, could build up quite nicely. I need to just go in with my other hand so that I can go in at the right angle there. Yes, I feel like that has just made this look so much better. I'm sorry if you can hear that banging. I think my next door neighbour is doing a little bit of Sunday DIY. I really like how that's turned out now. Who would have thought it? So I'm going to take just a tiny little dense brush so that I can try out a different shade. I'm going to dip into Pansy, this top shade, which again is a shimmer, so that I can see how this formula works. And I'm just going to tap this right onto that inner corner to brighten that up. Yeah, that looks nice. That's really nice and bright and reflective, and I feel like that has like blended in to the other shimmer that I've got all across the lid really nicely. I now want a different brush, so I'm just taking another like dense sort of pencil-y type of brush, and I'm going to dip into this darkest brown shade down at the bottom corner, which again is a matte, and this is Red Dahlia, and I'm just going to load that colour up on the brush. See, that one looks really nice and pigmented, and I'm going to try and do a sort of smoky wing. That's not doing the most for me. I feel like it's quite close to that fuchsia shade that I put on the outer corner. I mean, I feel like you can tell the difference, this side with that liner and this side with nothing. Like, it's deepened it up a little bit. Is that the right word? Deepened. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day. So just going to try and even this out on this side now, which of course is the most difficult part. Again, I am getting a little bit of fallout from that brown shade, Red Dahlia. I'm getting a little bit of fallout from that, so just take a fluffy brush to brush that away, and honestly I'm actually quite happy with how that turned out. Considering I hated that first shade so much, I think that we have done okay. I'm just tapping out above. I feel like that's turned out okay. It's darker than I was expecting. I was thinking from this palette that it was going to be quite pastel-y, but it's actually like it goes quite deep. Like, there's some shades that are quite dark, which I quite like even in more of a pastel-y palette. I think that that's quite nice to have the option to go a bit darker. I will just swatch a few shades so that I know for myself how they actually work. So I've got the shade Wild Flower, which I thought was going to be a little bit more exciting than that. That's quite sheer. Then let's try Wisteria and Hydrangea. Like, where are these? Where's the pigment in these? This is just the shimmers. Then we've got Lily and Prickly. Again, no pigment. None at all. So is Bouquet the only one that has any sort of, I mean, it doesn't even really have any colour behind it. Like, it is, that's Bouquet, the one that I put right across the eyes, and it's just the glitters that are like catching the light. Let's try a few of the matte shades. So we've got Tulip and Hibiscus. See, the matte shades look a lot nicer. The matte shades look like they actually have something to them. Like, those colours would match my cardigan nicely. Then let's try CA Poppy, which is a shimmer. And let's try another shimmer. Let's try In Bloom. See, these shimmers, I mean, they're still not, they're still not like the most blinding, but all of these ones feel like toppers, which I don't love. These ones, which were CA Poppy and In Bloom, they are actually pigmented, like they have some pigment to them. But even so, like, I mean, in comparison to the others, yeah, they're great, but that is quite disappointing. Let me try Freshly Cut. I mean, on the finger that looked like it was going to be incredibly pigmented, and then it's just not applying anything to the skin. There we go. The second layer, that has built up a little bit. Second layer has given us a little bit of something, but still not like, not the most. Let me go off and do some mascara and then I'll give you my roundup. I'm not going to use those lashes today because even now, like, I can feel my eyes watering. I want to do like the least possible. So let me go off, do some mascara, and then I'll be back for the roundup. Can you tell what my review is going to be? So that is the eyes finished with mascara. So in conclusion, I don't love it. I just don't love this palette. It was a lot of work to get like not very much pigment. I feel like if you were wanting a new pastel-y but not all that light, but sort of spring eyeshadow palette, I feel like there's other ones on the market. I will leave a video linked where I go over all of my pastel eyeshadow palette recommendations, like all of my favourite pastel palettes. I feel like there's some in there that I could create this look with. I could create so many different looks with that is a lot better quality than this one. So yes, it's very affordable, but I do feel like this is the formula from Profusion that I'm not the biggest fan of. It's not very user-friendly, it's not very pigmented, it's not easy to work with. It doesn't really give me what I want in an eyeshadow look. So I do really like the blush. I think that that is beautiful. I like it on the lips. Like, I like how it feels on the lips. It feels really nice and hydrating. I did just put a little bit of lip liner around to like neaten it up because I made a little bit of a mess, but I do like it on the cheeks and it doesn't stay feeling sticky. So I do really like the blush. It, like I say, it did come in a few different shades, so I really like Pretty Poppy. I do feel like this is a really nice one for spring, but the eyeshadow palette is just a no from me. I feel like you could get something else that would work a lot better. And then the lashes, obviously I haven't used them today, but they look really pretty, and I'm definitely excited to try them out at some point in the future. Let me know if you'd like to see a look with those flowery ones, because I'm feeling like a big dramatic wing and these lashes and like a fun lip for spring. How perfect. I think that that would work really well. So let me know, have you tried anything from Profusion that you think is better than this one? What's your favourite product from Profusion? Because I have so many that I love. This one is just a little bit of a flop for me. But let me know, have you tried this palette? What do you think of it? Are you a fan of these more topper, sheer sort of shades? They're not for me, but I would love to hear if you enjoy them, if you enjoy this formula. But if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you found it useful, please give it a big thumbs up. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.